Welcome to the Mortgage Wise radio show and video podcast, where we educate and provide expert advice on personal finance, mortgages, and real estate investing.
Show me the money.
As a result of what we do, our team has helped hundreds of first-time buyers, experienced buyers, and real estate investors achieve their goals of homeownership.
I wonder if there's a connection there.
Here are your executive producers and mortgage advisors, Randy and Veronica Chambliss.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Mortgage Wise radio show. Just a quick, if you guys could just shoot us a chat or tell us verbally, can you hear us okay? Are we coming through loud and clear, whether it's on Facebook or on Zoom?
Give us a thumbs up or some hearts.
Can hear you on Zoom.
All right, awesome. Thank you, man. Well, listen, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Mortgage Wise Radio Show. I am Randy Chambliss, the Executive Director of Louisiana Housing Authority, and I'm also a corporate branch manager with Geneva Financial. And I have to my right,
I am Veronica Chambliss. I'm also a corporate branch manager with Geneva Financial and the Housing Director of Louisiana Housing Authority. So today we're going to be talking about saving lives through financial solutions. So we're going to talk about 5 critical steps for financial transformation.
Absolutely.
So, that's right. So like individuals are stressed out about money, right? Financial worries are consuming more and more Americans, even before COVID-19 hit. Wouldn't you agree?
I totally agree.
So in its 2020 employee financial wellness with Price Waterhouse Coopers, I think it is.
Yes.
They indicated that 58% employees reported being stressed out about their finances. So we want to share with you guys some solutions and probably some personal experiences that we went through to help someone overcome.
Exactly. And when Veronica just read, it was 58% of individuals said that they are stressed because of financing, right? But I really want to really drive home this point. I want to challenge you to go to Google. I'm a type of person, you have to prove something to me, right? So I want to prove it to you guys. Go to Google and just type in what's the number one, use those words. What is the number one stress, reason for stress, right? What's the number one reason for stress? And what you're going to see pop up is going to be money. It's going to be financing. Go figure, right? And so that's extremely important, especially during this pandemic of COVID-19, because a lot of people don't really realize that stress actually lowers your immune system, right? And so when this pandemic first started, one of the things, or a few of the things we was doing is trying to boost up our immune system as big and as much as possible, right? So we were taking a lot of vitamin C's. Veronica, we're still taking vitamin C, right? Vitamin C, minerals, all the necessary nutrition that you need for your body to boost up the immune system, right? Fruits and vegetables to boost up the immune system, because the higher the immune system, the better chance you have to fight off those diseases in the body, viruses, etc., right? Naturally, right? And so what happened is we know that we lost quite a few people during COVID. And the majority of the individuals we lost, unfortunately, had secondary underlying health issues, right? They may have diabetes, high blood pressure, et cetera, et cetera. So there was compromise on their immune system. It was already compromised. So now all of a sudden you have this new virus that came into part, which is COVID-19, which is basically a strain of pneumonia. That's basically what it was, right? Or what it is, right? And so it's extremely important for us to eliminate the stress, or try our best to get rid of the stress, so that way we can increase our immune system. Another thing that I want you guys to do a little research on is that when a doctor, right, when a doctor's doing an organ transplant, right, one of the first things that they do is implement stress hormones into that patient. And the reason why, because stress hormones that they give to that patient actually shuts off the immune system. So that way, when the immune system is shut off, the body can accept the new organ that was given, right? Whether it's a heart, liver, lung, whatever the organ was, the body actually have an opportunity now to accept it. Because if the immune system is on and is strong, it's going to fight off that foreign tissue, that foreign object that's entering into the body. So that's why it's so important, guys, to be able to alleviate, eliminate, get rid of the stress. So if, right, these statements is true, and again, we go to Google, not saying Google is the king, but we all know most people go there to get information, right? But my point is, now that we understand and we know a little bit better that stress causes the immune system to be lower, and the number one cause of stress is finances, money. Yeah. And we could go as far as say a lot of people, a lot of marriages, right? A lot of marriages are dissolved, right? Or people quit on their marriage because of money and finances. So we have a very, very big passion of helping our community, the people that listen to the podcast, the people that listen to our workshops, etc., because we are on a mission to save lives. And we're going to do that by providing expert advice on finances, personal finances, mortgages, and real estate in hopes that we can do that. So guys, listen, let's jump right into that first one. Again, just a quick tip. This podcast, this episode name is Saving Lives Through Financial Solutions, 5 critical steps for financial transformation. What's number one?
So number one is create your financial vision.
Absolutely.
Write it down.
Exactly. So to create that vision, you have to know and say, and choose your future. You have to know and say, listen, what do I want my life to look like, right? Oftentimes we're afraid to even visualize that. We're afraid to even think the thought. We're afraid to even speak that to somebody else or share it to somebody else. But we do that oftentimes because we are afraid of the disappointment. We're making decisions based on past experiences. We're making a decision based on our current situation. But the good book tells us, one of my favorite books, say that the people perish because there's no vision. Not that they physically perishing, but their goals, their wishes, their desires, it perishes. They give up on life, and this allow life just to take over them. And now they're going with the flow, right? Now they're going to work, paying bills, and just die, right? With no meaningful purpose in life. So you want to be able to say, okay, what type of vehicle I want to drive, right? What type of home do I want to live in? Whether you want to live in a 4-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 5-bedroom, does not matter, right? Yeah. What type of community you want to live in, right? What type of income that you want to come into your household, right? Do you want to be out of debt, right? Visualize yourself being out of debt, right? So you have to choose your future and know exactly how you want your finances run. Listen, guys, businesses, corporations, governments do this all the time. You think the government or businesses or corporations just wake up and just going through the flow of life without checking their finances, without having a vision, without having a forecast, without accruing expenses, right? That doesn't happen. They know exactly where their money going at. So first off, you have to get intentional of what you want. You have to be intentional. You have to choose that, right? Next, you have to decide and say, okay, what will my life look like after I obtain my goal, my financial goal? What would that look like? Think about 12 months from now. Forget your current situation. Don't even think about your current situation. Don't think about the past. That's the purpose of the vision. So you can imagine, right? Visualize what your life will look like. And what that does, that keeps you motivated, right? That keeps you excited, that keeps you optimistic of that it's going to happen. So
and I can honestly say that I'm a product of that, because it wasn't until about 5 years ago when we did our first flip in 2016 that I really made it a point to be intentional about what I wanted. Randy used to ask me all the time, did you write this down? Did you write your vision down? I'm like, It's like I was afraid to even think the thought of having, a certain amount of money. Oh, well, I want to write down, I want $20,000 a month, $100,000 a month. I was afraid of that. But now, I do it like it's just a no-brainer.
Right, absolutely.
And so it takes time. It took me, 5 years to get out of that mindset, because I didn't come up in a family like that,
Absolutely.
like most people.
Yeah, most people didn't. I grew up in a 2-parent household. I was blessed with that. And, my mom was a stay-at-home mom majority of my life. And when I became a teenager, she started working as a domestic worker. My dad, he was a construction worker for his career. That was his career. So I come from a middle-class household. So my family didn't teach me financial education or share these things with me because they didn't know, right? If they knew, I'm certain they'd have taught me. So lo and behold, growing up in New Orleans, I became an at-risk youth, right? Even though I had support. And by the time I made 19, I had my first son, and I was a struggling teenage father. Came 2005, Hurricane Katrina, lost everything I owned, water to the roof of the home, my home. And I had less than $500 in a bank account, and my credit score was horrible. It was in the low 500, right? Because I didn't know the importance of financial education, financial literacy, right? It wasn't until my older brother, was teaching me and sharing me resources how to buy a home. Because he bought a home 1 year prior to Hurricane Katrina. But I did get my stuff together after I was broke, busted, and broken doing Hurricane Katrina, right? I hit rock bottom, and then I realized this can't happen again, right? Ever, right? And so I found another mentor who did teach me about finances and money. And long story short, in 2006, 1 year after Hurricane Katrina, after getting my finances in order, using the same principles that we sharing today, I was able to buy my first home in 2006, December. And 30 days later, I bought my first rental property. And so we know what that looks like because we've been through it. So we just simply want to share what we did, right? And so what's our next one?
Number two would be write down your financial plan.
Right. So if you're taking notes, write down this. Write down your financial plan, right? That's number two. But under two, there's going to be some bullet points, and we're going to be hitting each one of these bullet points. So write these bullet points down. The first one is going to be give money a direction, right? So God don't really give you money because you're asking for it, right? He's giving you what you can manage, right? So if you can manage money well, then you'll get more of it, right? If you have a negative vibration towards money, then money is going to repel from you. Money is going to leave you, right? So you want to be a good manager of money, right? And so some people, oftentimes, I used to say it, and some of you guys know some people that say it, you yourself. See, I might have said it before, like, man, every time I get some money, it's going on the bill or going on something.
It's already gone.
It's already gone. The tire on the car needs to be changed, or the refrigerator going up. Man, I just got the stimulus check, now it's gone. Like, right? Well, it's gone because you just spoke it into existence, right? So,
and money is currency, right? Just like the water. Water is current.
Right, it
flows. So if you don't have a direction for your money to flow, it's gonna flow right out the door.
That's right. Two of the biggest words that I was taught with my mentor was cash flow, right? Cash flow. That means I have more money left over at the end of the month than I do bills. That's my cash flow, right? Because it's currency, like you mentioned. So you have to give money a direction, meaning that every dollar needs to be directed, even if it's directed to your savings account. And say, okay, well, this amount is going to go to the savings, this amount is going to go to my retirement, this amount is going to pay down debt. Oh, this amount we're going to go have fun. Like we're going to go celebrate this win at an expensive restaurant, etc. Right? Take a vacation, right? That money, that dollar has to have direction. So write that down.
And what I used to do too, when I was a single parent, I used to pay myself first before paying my bills. That way, even if I started off with $25, what I could afford to do, and then I would pay the bills. And then after that, I saw, wait, hold up, I can save a little bit more. And before you know it, I had a few thousand saved up. I was proud of myself.
Just that quick, right?
And I did it separate from a bank that I was primarily banking at. So I made sure I went to a whole nother area where I know I wasn't going to go and transfer money because I didn't want to drive that far.
It made it inconvenient, right?
Right. I made it an inconvenience.
Right. Good point. Love it.
That's being intentional, right?
That's right. It's being intentional. You've done it intentionally. So the next bullet point underneath, write down your financial plan, because all of this is a part of the financial plan, right? Is get your spending checked, right? You got to get it in order, get it checked. Check your spending, right? You shouldn't be every day you come home, you have a package from Amazon sitting on your front porch, right? I know Amazon is convenient. I get it. But every day you shouldn't have that package coming. You have to get your spending in check, have it in order, right? Again, that just goes back for being intentional and giving money
Well, sometimes
direction.
Amazon have deals.
Well, oftentimes Amazon have deals.
I buy deals.
Keep on listening to Veronica, right? Keep on listening to Veronica.
I save you a lot of money. Yeah.
So definitely, you guys, you want to make sure that you get your spending check. Next, the next bullet point is
Create
going
a
to
monthly
be
spending plan.
what is it?
Create a monthly spending plan.
So
Not a budget.
Right, not a budget. A lot of people don't like the B word. I get it, right? It's a negative vibration. So get rid of the B word if you have to, and use the words a spending plan, right? My mentor told me, Randy, plan your work and work your plan, right? So you plan your finances out and you have to be disciplined and go and work it, right? Don't worry about the B word, don't worry about the budget. You just have a spending plan in place. Next one we have.
Find ways to earn more money.
Absolutely. So if you have a job, that's okay. Pick you up a second job if you need to, part-time. Do a little side hustle, right? Not the drug dealing hustle, not like that. Hustle. But you might be cutting grass or cutting hair or doing hair, right? Exactly, doing hair. Whatever you can do legally, ethically, right? To generate some more cash, right?
Home-based business.
Or home-based business. Right? I love home-based businesses. I don't care if it's network marketing. I don't care if it's a traditional business. You need to have a business. One, it helps you with your taxes, right? Help minimize your taxes. We'll talk a little bit about that a little later as well. So you want to be able to, have that spending plan in place. What's next?
Minimize living expenses.
So minimizing those living expenses means every single month, right? You have to know that number, right? When you at your job and you're a department manager or something, right? You managing the budget for your department, right? If you have a business, you're managing your budget for the business. So it's no different for your personal finances. You have to know what is your monthly expense, and you have to start to lower that down, right? If you want to have personal financial success, right?
Like, for example, we cut off the cable bill. Well, our cable bill used to be $200 and something, almost $300. And I was like, you know what? Is no way possible I'm gonna keep paying this amount. So I got the bill down to $60. Well, lo and behold, the cable company done found a way to get it back to $150.
Oh yeah, they're gonna get you some way, somehow. They're gonna get you. But we cut the cable out because we ended up doing a whole house air antenna, right? So we ended up buying an antenna, and it's like a dish, right, on the side of the house, just like a dish network or whatnot. But it's
he got
air TV.
He did it. He got
it. Yeah. I'm the man. I can do it. So we put a whole house antenna on, right? And it gave us basic channels that's clear. I mean, talking about beautiful, clear pictures, right? Better than clear. And we have all the basic channel, all the local channels, et cetera. And then we ended up, of course, we have Wi-Fi internet in the house, so internet in the house. So we could use our Fire Stick and have our movies and stream YouTube videos, Sling TV. Yeah. And that cut our costs tremendously. Cutting the cable from, well, I ain't gonna call it name, but we're gonna cut the cable from COX. All right. All right, what's next?
So you want to increase credit scores.
Absolutely. So now you want to increase your credit score. So now you minimize your expenses. You want to increase your credit score as high as possible, because when your credit score is low, your interest rate is higher and you're spending more money that's unnecessary, right? So you want to work on having the highest credit score as you possibly can, right? What's next?
Minimize taxes.
I told you guys we were gonna come back to that tax thing, right? So minimize taxes. How can you minimize taxes? Listen, when you are an employee working for somebody, you are taxed the highest. You are in the highest tax bracket, right? I mean, Uncle Sam taking a big chunk, like a third out of your check. Why? Because you go to work, right? Uncle Sam takes his money, right? So you pay taxes next. And then whatever left over, you spent.
It's not Uncle Sam no more, it's Uncle Joe.
Oh, yeah, it's Uncle Joe. Oh, Joe, right? Everybody loves Joe with the tax status came out. but certainly, you want to be able to, put yourself in a different position. Whether you have a business, home-based business, traditional business, or if it's a network marketing business, still qualify as a business. So now that income that you're earning, now you can adjust one of the things you can adjust your withholdings, right, from your employer, right? Consult your CPA, right? That's our disclosure, right? But you can adjust your tax withholding to pretty much zero if you want, depending on you, right? So now you're not having no federal taxes coming out, right? Your paycheck. Why? Because you're gonna make it up in your business, because now you're earning money, now you're spending money first, and then you taxed on what's left over. For example, as a business owner, you might take go to a restaurant and have a meeting with someone, right? Well, that meeting at that restaurant is a business meeting. You could write that meal off, right? The gas it took to get there, you can write that off. Most people have a vehicle, they're gonna stop and get gas, so you might as well have a tax benefit for your gas, right? Most people are gonna buy clothes, right? Professional clothes or regular clothes, and you can potentially write that off, clothes, shoes, etc. So the lifestyle that you currently live in, if you simply make some adjustment, right? Shift your income just a little bit, now you're taxed in a lower tax bracket. So what you can do, right? That money that you was taken out of your paycheck as a from the federal standpoint, when you get your paycheck, now it's minimum, right? It used to be $200, $300 a paycheck. That's $400, $600 a month. Now, if you minimize that, you can take that same $400, $600 a month and pay off some debt, right? Increase your savings, because you want to have an emergency savings account, at least 90 days, right? 30 days to start off with, meaning that, hey, you want to have at least 1 month of your living expenses sitting aside in a bank account. But ideally, 90 days should be your target, right? That's your emergency account. So minimizing taxes is huge, guys. You want to be able to focus on that, right? Next, what we have?
Plan to get out of debt.
You have to make this plan, guys. You have to plan to get out of debt. Now, getting out of debt is actually a strategy, right? And so you have to be able to use that strategy. One, it could be possible that you're just gonna pay down your debt on your own, right? Minimize your expenses, minimizing your taxes, use that money, right? Picking up an extra job or extra income through your business, then you're using that extra cash flow to be able to pay down your debt. Physically, you doing it. Next, it might make sense for you to reach out to a debt consolidation company to be able to consolidate that debt, right? Sometimes you may have a credit card offer that has zero interest, right? Your credit card interest might be kicking you behind right now, right? Might be to make a transfer, right? To have that zero interest balance to help chop down that debt. Or you might consider a debt management program, right? If you can't be disciplined on your own, you might need to reach out to a professional and get enrolled in one of those programs. Or lo and behold, if you qualify, you might want to seek bankruptcy, Chapter 7, Chapter 13, etc. Why? Because those bankruptcy codes are legal codes that can help you to alleviate debt, right? And so that burden sometimes of debt is so strong, you might qualify for a bankruptcy, and you're able to, if it's a Chapter 7, get rid of the debt, totally start fresh, start over. Don't worry about what nobody's thinking. Don't worry about what nobody's saying. Who cares? They're not paying your bills, right? They're not contributing to your bills. So don't worry about what nobody's thinking, right? Get that Chapter 7, get that Chapter 13, start fresh, and don't make the same financial mistakes again, right? Learn from it, right? But the point is, you have to get yourself out of debt. It's critical. We learned that during COVID-19, businesses were shutting down, right? Hundreds of thousands and millions of people lost their income. Either 100% of their income was lost or a portion of the income was lost. And the majority of people, there's a statistic that's going around that says 40% of Americans don't even have $1,000 saved in their bank account. So when COVID hit and we had those lockdowns, people was forced to stay in. And what happened? Stress levels went up. At the beginning of our conversation, we talked about why stress is important, right? If you guys are just tuning in, stress is important to manage because stress lowers your immune system. Because when a doctor gives a transplant, an organ transplant, one of the things they do is introduce stress hormones to shut off the immune system so the organ transplant can take and be accepted in the body. So imagine if you're not getting a transplant, but you're super stressed because you lost your job, right? You have no emergency savings, you have no long-term savings, your parents or your colleagues or your friend or your spouse, they lost their job. Now you worried. Why? Because that's 5 necessities of life: food, water, clothing, and shelter. 4 necessities. So if those needs, those critical needs are not being met, we worry and stress level. How am I going to eat? The landlord might put me out. The bank might foreclose on my home. What am I going to do? I got my family. So all this emotions is happening because of the thinking. Stress levels is high, immune system is lower, and all of a sudden, boom, you get sick. Right. So we have to be intentional of not allowing ourselves to be stressed, right? And whatever the stress level is, get rid of it. Think on something else. That's why vision is important, because you get to close your eyes and imagine and envision a better life. Your emotions only respond to what you're thinking, right? Your emotion does not do anything. It was not designed to do anything else but respond to your thoughts. So whatever you're thinking, whatever you visualize is going to respond to that. So if you're thinking about doom and gloom, how I'm going to pay my bills, how I'm going to pay my car note, how I'm going to pay my house, how I'm going to eat. If you're thinking that, your emotions is following. That's what they're designed to do. But if you have a different vision, a vision of what it looks like on the winning side, that you have more than enough, you have abundance, right? More than enough health, more than enough wealth, right? You have good savings account, right? You lost your job, whoopee, you have your business that you've been having for 5 years that's thriving. You have X amount of dollars in the account that could keep you going for 8 months. It's no worries, no stress, right? So that's why it's important. So what's number 3, guys? I mean, guys, I'm talking to everybody.
So number 3 is automatic savings and bills.
All right, so just to recap, we're talking about 5 critical steps for financial transformation. Number 1 was create your financial vision. Number 2, write down your financial plan, and then we gave you steps. And number 3 is automate your savings and bills, right? So what that means is that, hey, like Veronica mentioned in her story, right? You're working or you have your business income coming in, have a separate savings account that automatically X amount of dollars goes to that savings account. So you don't see it, it's automatic. Have some of your bills on automatic. Why? Because oftentimes, one, we're already afraid to even look and see what bills that need to be due, right? It stresses you out to even say, I owe this much, I owe that much, I gotta pay this bill, I gotta pay that bill.
And when you automate the bills, what I would recommend is doing it through your bank. Your bank have an online bill pay, or do it through, if you do it directly through the company, put it to where you're in control of what they get. Don't let them take control of your account.
I like that. That's good advice, especially like you said, using your own bank.
Yeah.
Because you can control it. That's the whole purpose of it.
You want to control it.
Right. So oftentimes people have more bills left over at the end of the month than they do cash. And so they're afraid to look at the bills and pay the bills. And when they do look at it, it causes what? Stress, right? So to alleviate the stress, then just let the bills go on automatic payment. The ones that you know you can afford, right, to pay, just let it come out, right? You don't want to cause no overdrafts, right? But just let it come out. If you have to pay, a couple of them physically, you do that, but just minimize it. So that way it's automatic. You're not thinking about that, right? This is automatically happening, right? Because you want to be in a good vibration, right? Next, number 4.
Be vocal about your financial goals.
Yes, you want to be vocal, right? A lot of people might be, well, I won't say a lot of people might be, but you have insurance agents, right? Life insurance agents, real estate agents, right? But if you don't tell nobody your profession or what you're doing, you're just a secret agent, right? So you want to be able to tell people about your finances goal, not your finance, but your financial goal. Where are you going to, right? Be vocal about it. Now, I'm not telling everybody, right? But you might want to tell, a close friend of yours, right? A good cousin that
the right ones.
The right one, right? Right. That's what I'm saying. Good, right? The right people. You just want to tell maybe 1 or 2. Why? Because they help you to be accountable, right? By they knowing what your goals is, then when you're out with them, they might say that they're not going to use the word B, right? They're going to use that B word, budget. They're not going to use that. They're going to say, hey, don't you have a financial plan? Don't you, what was a spending plan? What's going on? You buying that wine today again, right? So you want to have somebody to hold you accountable and have fun with it, guys. You want to plan your finances. I'll have that financial plan in place. You want to work the plan, but you need to trust the process and enjoy the journey. I don't want you guys thinking, let me say that again. You have to trust the process, and this is what we're giving you, the process. You have to trust the process, but also have to enjoy the journey, right? So you have to trust the flow of life. When you have a vision, you have a goal, it's set, it's a dominant thought, it's a burning desire. You have to trust that the Most High God, if you're a believer, is going to what? Direct your path, right? So there's no worries, there's no stress. The only reason why you worry and you stress because you don't believe that it's gonna happen. But just believe. Like believing don't cost you anything. Don't cost you $10,000 to believe. It don't cost you $1 million to believe. It costs you zero, zilch. So just believe. Your financial goal, you're financially free. You don't owe no debt to nobody. One of my favorite books say, "Oh no man, nothing," right? So you believe in, oh, hey, I don't have nobody that I owe. I have good cash flow coming in the household. I have more assets, and I'm buying assets that's generating more income, right? My living expenses are at a minimum. My taxes is low, right? I'm minimizing my taxes. So those are the plans. So you want to just be vocal about that. So people around you could help you in your time of weaknesses. And then you might, that energy that you have might rub off on them. They might get their finances in order. And all of a sudden you're helping them to save their life because they're not stressed because of money. Yeah. What's our next one, number 5?
Well, you said it already. Number 5 is trust the process, make adjustments, and enjoy the journey.
I did say it. I jumped the gun, right? I'm just going off the dome, just jumped the gun, guys. But I did miss one word. That's adjustments, right? So number 5, trust the process, make adjustments, and enjoy the journey. Well, making that adjustment means that you don't quit the strategy. You don't give up on the plan. The plan works, right? But you might have to make an adjustment here and there. You might have to take a detour. It doesn't mean that the goal not going to happen, right? So again, enjoy the journey, right? You are happy and grateful and free now, not when you're out of debt, not when you have good cash flow coming in. At this moment, you are happy and free now, because we need to have you in a good vibration. Your emotions respond to your thoughts. So if you're thinking good thoughts, you're gonna have good emotions, and you're gonna attract those things that you're thinking to you that's dominant, right? So you don't want to attract more debt. You don't want to attract more poverty. You don't want to attract that. You want to attract more abundance, more wealth, more health, more joy, happiness, right? That's what you want to attract. So anything that you wanted to share before we jump to our next section?
No, sir.
All right, well, listen, just a quick recap. We're talking about today, saving lives through financial solution, 5 critical steps for financial transformation. And now we're going to talk about our quote of the week. So every week on our podcast, we try to do a quote. So today's quote is going to be, action is the most important key to any success, right? Action is the most important key to any success. When the children of Israel was coming out of Egypt and it was at Mount Sinai, they became a nation of people. Most High God gave them laws, statutes, and commandments. He said, listen, go and do these commandments. He didn't say just hear it, right? He said, go and do this commandment, these commandments, and you will have success, right? So that's what you want to do, guys. Again, that quote of the day, action is the most important key to any success. Go and do it, right? Go and do it. But you do it in the spirit that is already done, right? You're not worried, you're not stressed. Trust that you're being guided by the right source. So listen, guys, I'm Randy Chambliss. You guys can reach me on Facebook or Instagram at Mr. Randy Chambliss. My direct number, you can call, text me at 504-270-2783. You can learn more about me for finance-wise at randyknowsmortgages.com.
And I am Veronica Chambliss. I can be reached on social media with Veronica Chambliss. My direct contact number is 504-715-4388. And I can also be reached online at knowsmortgages.com.
Awesome. And so if you have an organization, you have a company, church, and if you want to book us for speaking, we are speakers as well. We'll gladly come out, do a complimentary workshop, and or even on Zoom or Teams, we can make that happen, guys. This is our passion. This is what we do. We've been doing it for a very, very long time, right? So I'm just super excited, guys. Have a great day on purpose. God bless.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, ma'am. Enjoy your day.
Thank you. You too.
That brings today's show to a close.
Oh, come on!
Thank you for listening to the Mortgage Wise radio show and video podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to share it with a friend and subscribe. Please follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at the Mortgage Wise Radio Show. If you want to learn more about what we talked about today, give us a call at 504-270-2783. Or to view our podcast library, please visit our website, themortgagewiseradioshow.com.
Autobots, roll out.
Until next time, choose to have a great day on purchase, Mortgage Wise friends.
Go home.